So we are preparing for our goats, right guys? So we found out less than 24 hours ago that our goats are coming home next weekend. And we thought we had another month to prepare. But we are cool with that. We're excited to have the goats coming. So we have been getting lots of supplies and building lots of stuff and placing lots of orders in order to get all of our goat supplies, right, Max?
Yes.
Yeah. So how are you feeling about getting your goats?
Pretty good so far.
Yeah. You think, do you have any names in mind for these two mini oberhaslis?
No.
Not yet. So we still have to think about names. And Sam, what do you think about Max's goats?
I think they're gonna be cute.
Yeah.
Cool looking.
Yep, there's lots of learning to do, right, guys? As we found out as we're trying to put together a first aid kit with all the medical supplies and random stuff that goats you should have on hand when caring for goats. So, yeah, we're still in the process of getting all that fun stuff, but thanks to Tractor Supply, we have a small assortment of random things that you should have on hand. And we have a heated water bucket, and we got some salt, we got a trough for their grain, we got pine shavings for bedding, and today we continue building the goat shelter, right guys? Yep. So we're going to be hauling some of these supplies up to the shed that was previously my garden shed and is now the goat and garden shed.
Yep.
And I got my two workers ready to work. Yep. And we're off. We're good. You got the door there, Sam?
Yep.
Cool. And of course it's raining. That's all right. At least it's not snow. So for now, we'll just bring all the supplies in. Yep, if you want to stack them over there for now. Oh, cool. So, yep, we just got a couple more things to bring out. So why don't you guys go in and grab the trough and we'll get the salt too.
So I now have salt and a trough.
Yes. Salt is very, very, very heavy. Holy cannoli. Okay, so there's salt in that. Now I just got to bring up the barn lime, which is heavy too. Then we wait for Daddy to get back from Home Depot, and we're going to start building that goat shelter. All right, so being as we weren't expecting the goats for another month, things are just going to be a little crazy for the next couple days. You know, we're still learning how to properly take care of goats because we've never ever had goats before. So while we've been trying to learn gradually about caring for goats over basically the past year, I still feel like there's so much that I need to learn and then need to teach the boys about in order to care for these sweet goats that we're going to be getting. That being said, all of this is a learning experience for the boys and for Joe and I. So everything that we're doing based upon what other more experienced goat owners have suggested, what we're finding on YouTube, and from some books. You know, we are basically goat newbies. So we're taking it all one step at a time, just many, many steps very quickly over this next week, because next Sunday we are going to be picking up those mini oberhasli doelings. So that's going to be really exciting. For the goat shelter, we put pea stone down for the foundation to also help with drainage. On top of the pea stone, we're going to be putting wood chip mulch that we have this huge pile here that we got last year, and it's been composting down. So we're gonna put that down kind of as like an earthen floor for the goat shelter. Now, this pile is frozen because it's only March 5th or so, so it is frozen. But I found a trick to help break this up and get the mulch back to the goat shelter area. All you gotta do is you get an axe and break it up. So you just take this and give a couple good whacks and it breaks it up. And then you can take a rake and get your mulch and haul it.
Can I try?
No.
I've used an axe before.
Yeah.
Chopped a bunch of wood.
Not this way. We get it all broken up and rake it down. And then, because we don't have a working lawnmower with a trailer right now, or a cart or a wagon, we have this old cart that has been broken more times than we can count and fixed more times than we can count. So we have to haul it by hand through the mud and the snow back to the goat shelter. But we will get it done. So at least we have some options to get our wood chips back to the area. All right, y'all. So I used the axe to break up the wood chips, and that's doing pretty well, but it's just gonna take so long, longer than I thought. So Joe had the idea, let's go ahead and hook up the hose and get some water in there, and maybe that'll help break up those wood chips. And then maybe I can use the axe then too. Maybe it'll work as a combo to help me get this mulch up to the goat shelter area. You know, it's pretty much a free resource for us. I don't want to go out and spend money on any sort of like dirt or soil when I know I have this mulch here. So it may take me a couple hours, but it is what it is, right? So at least the weather's cooperating with us today. So it's raining. That's okay. It's like 45, 50 degrees. We got this. That hose is working fabulously. It's breaking down the wood chips so I can get into them. I'm taking the axe to it. I'm getting huge chunks. So this job should be done soon.
So we now have our hay.
So the next venture on getting the goats, we found a source of second cutting hay from our local Ace Hardware. We've been trying to find sources of the hay, and it's been a bit tricky. We have some now. We also have some straw to put down as another layer of bedding. So Max is gathering all his stuff he needs for his goats coming on Sunday. So look, this is why we don't get a new car, right? 07 RAV, and it can still hold hay and straw. We can get like 8 bales in here. It's pretty cool. Excited, Max?
Yep.
Man of few words. All right, so it is Tuesday, and we found out Saturday that the goats were coming on Sunday. So it's been a couple days, and we are making tremendous progress. Behind me is actually the goat shelter, which Joe is making a complete video on the construction of the goat shelter. So I'm not going to get into too many details here about that. We had some crazy winds last night into today, so sorry for the wind noise. It's pretty bad. Really, really windy. I think the wind gusts got up to about 45 miles per hour in our area overnight, so they're pretty strong. I did want to show you, I was successful in getting the wood chips and mulch the other day. We were able to fill up the space on top of the pea stone in here for our earthen floor for the goat shelter. So we did really good, got a good couple inches. I still got to do some work here. You can see there's some gaps we're gonna fill in there. Not really sure yet what we're gonna use, but there are some gaps that we need to take care of for sure. But this goat shelter is coming along fabulously. It's an 8x8. And like I said, Joe's gonna go over in full detail the full construction of this goat shelter with Max. So it's been pretty cool. I was working the other day on making sure we have proper drainage, because this is where the goats are gonna have like their fence, like kind of like their pasture, their permanent one, I guess you would say. We're gonna be putting cattle panel basically along over here and around, and we got some 6-foot T-posts to go with that. There's a nice big brush pile there for the goats to enjoy and lots of pricker bushes. But anyways, the other day, after I got all that mulch hauled up here, we were working on getting the drainage situation under control to make sure that this area is kept dry for the goats. So I was bringing in pea stone, I was bringing in rocks from the rock wall we have on our property. I took some logs and wood that we already had, and I'm gonna put more mulch on top. So I'm trying to create a level area and also have a space for water to drain down and away so that it's never pooling up by the goat shelter. And Joe has been working very hard on getting this goat shelter constructed and constructed well, along with teaching Max how this all goes and giving Max the ability to make choices in the design of this shelter. So we have a RAV4 that we use. We don't have a truck, so anytime we have to bring anything big home, it either goes on the roof rack of the RAV or inside the RAV. Joe has a Camry, which comes in useful. You can slide things right up the center of the car, but mostly we use the RAV. So we've been bringing home a 16-foot cattle panel on top of the RAV. So it's been a bit interesting. We've been doing it safely, no worries. Just we can only do 3 at a time. So it's gonna be multiple trips to Tractor Supply. Thankfully, Tractor Supply is only 10 minutes away, which is great. So I got some T-posts today. We're gonna pick up 7 more 16-foot cattle panels, and that's gonna be for the fencing. And then we're also discussing putting up some electric wire top and bottom, just to more so protect the mini oberhaslis. I'm not overly concerned about them getting out. It is a 4 foot, it's a 4-foot fence. So they say you should, 5 foot is probably best, but 4 foot definitely is okay. Being that they're mini oberhaslis, I'm not overly concerned about them getting out, but I do want the electric wire running, definitely to keep any coyotes out, stuff like that. The goats will be locked in every night in this shelter, so they will be very protected in here for sure. But I don't want anything to come in, like say during the day or anything like that, to get into their fence area. So that is the plan for fencing. So it is Wednesday and we are still getting things ready for these goats. I'm up in the shed. I just brought up some buckets for the minerals and the baking soda. I wanted to get everything set up here for like the everyday supplies that you need when taking care of goats. So we've been slowly accumulating all those supplies, and actually once I'm done up here, I'm gonna show you the first aid kit that we have put together in the house with all sorts of supplies that could be needed in case of an emergency when you have goats. So I'm gonna show you what I put together over the past few days. But for up here, let me kind of show you what we have set up so far. So we picked up this. It's actually a metal wire hamper I found at Walmart. I've been seeing a lot of people on Facebook groups and stuff saying that these make for a great hay manger or a hay holder for goats. And then what they do is they attach like this side to the shed, and then the goats are able to grab however much hay they want straight through here, and supposedly it makes for less waste of the hay. So for $25, I figured I'll give that a shot for the goats for their hay holder manger thingy. So we have that, and we also picked up a mineral feeder so that way they'll have their minerals and baking soda. I'm also gonna get one for the salt. I wasn't sure if the goats needed the salt with the minerals plus their grain that they'll eventually get when they're older, but I figured it's $7 at Tractor Supply, so I picked that up, and I just want to be prepared with everything and anything I might need. So we have the mineral feeder, the trough for their grain when they eventually get to grain, their water bucket. We got a 31-gallon metal garbage can to hold their grain. And up here, I took some buckets. These are 2-gallon buckets we had on hand. And I have baking soda. I picked up 2, I think 4-pound boxes at Walmart, and it was like a total of $5. So I have them in here, and then I have one that'll be for their minerals that I have purchased through Premier One. They're coming in a few days. I have a couple measuring cups here, plastic measuring cups. So when Max is up here needing to get stuff for the goats, or if he needs to measure anything, these are ready and set to go. We also have some grooming tools. So I put together a bin with a bamboo brush, bristle brush, and we have, I think this is called like a hoof file, plane. I can't remember the term at the moment, but we got one of those. And then we got like the hoof pick with the brush, and the hoof trimmer. So we still, of course, have to learn how to use this and the technique, but we have all those supplies ready to go. I also down here have some barn lime. Now, I heard that when you change the bedding for your goats, once you pull everything out, it's wise to spray with some vinegar and also sprinkle down some barn lime to help reduce any insects or like flies and stuff from laying their eggs. So I did get a big bag of barn lime, and to be careful, they say you wear a mask and gloves when applying it because it is caustic, so you want to be careful. I put that in a regular orange bin so it stands out, so it doesn't get confused as the baking soda or anything else like that. And then I'll always have the gloves and the mask on top, so whoever is cleaning out the goat's shed, like probably Max, he knows he needs to be careful and wear the mask and gloves. So that's so far the supplies we have up here that we've gotten so far. Let me take you up to the house and show you what we got there. And Max and Sam are here because we're going to go through all of the supplies that we've been gathering over the past few days. And mostly this is going to show what we've collected for our first aid kit, right? And any supplies we might need in case of an emergency or even just routine care for the goats. So with all the supplies coming, we needed some sort of bin to keep them all in. Also something that would be easy to cart and carry if we need to get it out to the goat house. So we got this massive DeWalt toolbox off Amazon, 24-inch. It's really great, 61-pound capacity you can carry in here, so it can hold a lot of stuff. And I think this was $25 on Amazon. So in here, I basically have all of the first aid supplies and some routine care things. You got the rectal thermometer and some scissors, drench guns, and then this part comes out, which is pretty cool. And then down in here we have other supplies like different gauge needles and syringes, a stethoscope to listen to their rumen. We have vet tape and nitrile gloves, We have pads down here because we heard they actually work better than using gauze for blood and stuff. So those are in here as well. And I did all this based upon other people putting together first aid kit checklists for goats. So I basically just went through those and got more of our supplies. The green goo, we have the goat Nutri-Drench. I can't say that. We got the goat drench. We have all sorts of things in here. Terramycin, Neosporin, hoof and heel. I've even got Rooster Booster that was recommended. Vetricin Plus. So all sorts of different things that might be needed in case of an emergency or just, the goat needs medical attention. We have supplies here. And then down below the needles and the syringes are some scalpels as well, just in case we ever needed them in case of an emergency. And we got an assortment of all different size syringes in there too. Over here we have different probiotics that you can give to goats. The Probios and Jumpstart Plus. I got these on hand. We also have a big gallon of blackstrap molasses. And Sam, what do you got there?
A giant flashlight.
That's right. So if we,
It's quite bright.
yeah, if we ever need to go out and take care of the goats when it's dark out, and if we need to set the light down, we got a lantern style flashlight so we can set it down and it's very bright. So that's perfect. And then we also have 2 breakaway collars. These are the small size because they're just meant for the little babies that are only a few weeks old. And we'll buy some medium collars once they get older. But we did buy breakaway collars to make sure that they weren't gonna accidentally be strangled by them or have any safety hazards. And then Sam, what do you have there?
So over here we have leashes.
That's right.
For the goats, you just hook them on the collars, like this.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can hook them on this one because it's matching colors.
Ah, pink on pink. So we did get some leashes just in case we need them. We're totally new to goats, so I know some people use leashes sometimes to help guide them. So we got a 2-pack of leashes just in case they do come in handy. Also, I just pulled out one of my ceramic dishes for a water bowl for the baby goats when they're here. So they are going to have a nice big heated water bucket up at their goat house, but for when they're so little, they really don't need something that massive. So we are going to use this little ceramic dish. Now, let's show you what we have over here.
So over here,
Yeah.
I have a little goat pen.
Yeah, so this is technically a puppy playpen, right?
Yes.
So I bought this used, like new condition puppy playpen on Amazon, I think for about $35. And I also have some puppy pads, puppy pee-pee pads to put down for the goats.
So Sam is technically pretending to be a goat.
That's it. There's our little doeling, Sam.
Basically think of a goat a third of the size of me trying to get up. Of course it can't because it's tiny. And then it'll try to get out. It'll have a hard time and have little puppy pads and then water, food, yeah.
That's right. And the reason we have the puppy playpen is because the doelings are going to be only a few weeks old. Actually, one of them's only going to be a little over 1 week old, and the other's, I think, going to be 3 weeks old. They're still going to need a nighttime feeding.
Yes.
Yeah, so me and Max are going to be waking up in the middle of the night to feed these babies their milk. So at night, plus being the fact that it is quite cold outside for these little things, we're gonna keep them inside at night. We are gonna get them outside during the day, adjust them to their goat house and whatnot. But at night, I think being that we're new, and so that Max and I don't have to trek out to the goat shed at 3-4 in the morning, we're gonna have them sleep in the puppy playpen with puppy pee-pee pads down on the floor. And we'll probably put this not in the living room, but on the hardwood floor. Every night we'll have it out there. So that's where the goats will be sleeping. So the rest of our supplies are coming in still from Premier One and Valley Vet. We have some Pritchard nipples and bottles coming in. I did order some goat kid formula through Premier One, but I also am researching that cow's milk, whole cow's milk, is supposed to be really good for them too. So I'm still researching whether or not we're going to want to use whole cow's milk or the formula, the powder formula. That's something we're really going to be learning about today. So I do have some more supplies still coming in, along with a... Max wants to use whole cow's milk. So we're going to learn about that today in homeschool. We'll figure that part out. But we also have I think it's called a Primo or Prima heat lamp coming in from Premier One as well. It's supposed to be the safest heat lamp out there, so that if the girls do sleep out in the goat house locked up, there will be some warmth in there. So we are stocking up on a lot of supplies because we want to make sure that we're doing everything right. Also, we've had this 1 week to kind of get our act together, even though we've been learning about goats for the past year, right guys?
Yes.
We've been slowly learning, it's been a crazy crash course the past few days. A lot of learning in a condensed time. So that's the status today for Wednesday.